I am Michelle Sons. I'm a landscape photographer primarily, a fine art landscape photographer specifically. It's not my full-time job. This is something I do sort of on the weekends and on my vacation time, and whenever I can really, because I love it so much. Appalachia is kind of what I'm known for. I live in Virginia, and because I'm sort of confined to doing most of my work on the weekends, I have a limited reach, and so that has helped me sort of specialize in this region.
I'm just trying to isolate the foreground of these dark green trees with a really soft blue background. I love the layers.
This weekend we are shooting in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It is a very sort of distinctive part of Appalachia. The Smoky Mountains have a very distinctive misty blue hue to them. There's just so much rain that falls on this mountain range. It's almost tropical rainforest amounts. That moisture in the air makes it kind of look very misty and soft.
Oh God, that is stunning. The sun's setting slightly to our right, which I never shoot into. So I'm offset from the direction of the sunset in order to get the very soft light. Just by adding a little bit of exposure, it really adds sort of a misty, magical feel to the shot.
I will often be the one shooting what everyone else is not shooting. You know, if I'm in a setting where there are a number of other photographers, I'm the one sort of shooting in the opposite direction where it's much softer, producing imagery that I find dreamy, very simple, and minimalist. We are about an hour before the sun comes up, sitting in line, we're third in line to go into Cades Cove in the park. They lock the gate at night, and then sunrise-ish, the ranger comes and opens up. So I thought I would share a couple of weather apps that I like to use. One of them is Meteoblue. It's a really, really robust weather app, so I can check the weather and download this little feature, you know, before I lose a signal. And the piece of it in particular that I like is this cloud cover graphic here. This is moving through time as you move to the right, and the yellow sections are daylight hours. The gray patches represent cloud cover. This is Saturday morning here, right on the edge of the yellow, so this is now. So you can see it shows ground level or very low level clouds, which suggests fog. The other resource I use, it's not an app, it's a website, and it's an aviation weather forecasting site, so it's really, really detailed. And this is something I use again to try to predict fog. It basically just represents the spread between the temperature and the dew point. And so when this spread is 5 or 6 degrees or less, that's when conditions are favorable for fog formation. I'm a fog chaser. I really, really adore fog because it simplifies the environment. Appalachia is a very visually chaotic environment, and so fog simplifies backgrounds, isolates subjects, and really it sort of adds that magical, mystical feel that I love.
There is more fog forming. I'm drawn to those two orange trees in the tree line over there. Cades Cove used to be settled and farmed, and so there's open meadows there. It can get very cold and frosty. You see, beautiful sort of softish tones on the grasses and the trees. What I'll do is I'll take most of the exposure from the previous shot, because I like it kind of brighter, and then I'll use this shot where it's less blown out in that bright spot, and paint that in to fill in that information. It's a bit brambly, so be careful. My father is from Tennessee, and my mother is from Ireland. And we moved back and forth between the U.S. and England many, many times during the course of my youth. I really developed a love of places. And so when I just randomly took a landscape photography workshop in Sedona, Arizona, everything kind of came together for me. My love of place, I love adventure and exploration, and then of course nature. It's using the foreground grasses, keeping the focus on that orange tree with a white trunk, makes it a little more interesting and more suggestive rather than literal. I do sell some of my work to National Geographic calendars, but what I love much more than that is the fine art side of things. And a lot of people bandy that term about, but to me fine art means it's expressive. I've set the camera to allow me to do 9 shots stacked. And so as I move from one shot to the next, you can see kind of a transparent representation of what I've shot so far. It's starting to become this very impressionistic tree. So here we have light-colored trunks against a darker background with strong verticals. Typically I will get my shutter somewhere between a half a second and like 7/10 of a second, and I use my aperture to adjust until I can achieve that shutter speed. And at the moment I'm pressing the shutter, I'm moving my camera vertically when I have strong verticals. You could just pan in one direction. You could pan in 2, up and down. You can also kind of jiggle. The choices that I make and how I expose the frame and post-process it are driven by that goal of expressing something that's personally significant to me. It's a nice background, and he's all side lit. Jesus, I don't want to get too close to him. I mean, he's big. The time that we're here is very, very late fall. And so we're seeing, that the color is primarily confined to the lowest elevations, that the upper elevations are completely leafless. And then down below, along the rivers and creeks, we are seeing some vestiges of remaining color there.
It's quite sort of like faded and subtle, which I like.
So in the summertime, when you've got a lot of leaves, as the sun hits the back, all the leaves kind of light up in a very soft, glowing way. And you can really get that in the fall here too, beautiful glowing yellows.
I'm not sure exactly how many years ago it is now, but at some point I connected with a small group of other landscape photographers in this region, and I met Tim. And Tim has become a wonderful friend over the years, and really a shooting partner. We just are a really good team. I know my family is very grateful to Tim because they don't like it when I disappear off for long weekends by myself in remote areas with no cell phone service. And so, they certainly prefer it when I'm heading somewhere and meeting Tim there. Without a lens hood, and I'm not straight onto the sun, but I'm only slightly offset from it, it's very like orange and kind of flared out. And so if I use my hand to just put a little bit of shadow like on the edge, it just removes that. I mean, sometimes I might want the flare, but I think I'll shoot one with. And now I'll back up and shoot it with the I'm an aching introvert. Modern life is really hectic and stressful, and so I need that sort of like simplicity and those Zen moments and the escape. And so I think that's why I seek that in my images. The Smoky Mountains is kind of where I got my start, and a place that I love very, very much.